And welcome to Power Hour, everybody. It's been a bitterly long, cold winter waiting for the 2025 Pro Contest season to start, and it's almost over. The Arnold Classic is right around the corner, and here today to talk about it with me is the one and only Giles Tiger Thomas. Giles, how stoked are you for this Arnold Classic?
Very. I think the main reason is, I was just saying to you before, I don't really miss the shows. I can kind of just, get involved in other news and kind of involve myself and follow the sport like we like to, and have our opinions and thoughts and kind of insights. But I'm really ready for a show now. I'm ready for the shows to start now. And then the thing is, in a few weeks we'll be moaning that the show's every weekend and we can't keep up. So. Yeah, it's been, as I was saying before, the weather's been miserable here. And normally the weather doesn't really kind of affect me. I don't get SAD or any of that nonsense. But it's been so cold here this winter. I've really started to feel it now. And but apparently tomorrow we're going to have like a heat wave. It's going to go up to like 13, 14 degrees. So I'm definitely gonna start back training tonight, I think, because I tried it once last week and I just ran out of the gym after 30 minutes. It was horrible. I didn't even know whether I had a pump or not because I was so cold.
Well, I'm going to jump right into this because it is a very, very historic Arnold. For the first time in 24 years, and only the second time in the 36-year history of the Arnold, the reigning Mr. Olympia is competing in the Arnold Classic. Samson Dauda, first of all, it takes guts because it's easy for a guy to sit back on his laurels with that Olympia title and that $600,000 paycheck and wait for the next year's Olympia. But hey, Arnold's giving out $500,000. Samson likes to compete, and he's in it. I can't remember how long ago. I think it was shortly after the Olympia he told us he was doing this, right?
I think he pretty much said straight away, didn't he? Because, the thing is, I think he knows there's a window to make money. He likes making money. He's just bought his new house. So he's bought a new gym, and he's got plans, which is basically going to set him and Marlena up for life. So he's probably thinking, and like he said, he likes to compete. And just quickly going back, he said there's only 3 times the reigning Mr. Olympia has done it. That was 2001, Ronnie Coleman, 2008, Dexter Jackson, and 2019, Brandon, correct?
Well, they won later in the year, but
that's
they won.
Shit. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's
so right. Ronnie, it almost cost Ronnie his Olympia title that year.
It did.
Because he's one of those guys that had a lot of trouble peaking twice in one year, and Jay Cutler came very close to beating him in 2001.
He didn't.
Well, in the scorecards, he was ahead of him.
I was there. That was do you know what, Ron? That was my first ever Olympia.
Oh, wow.
And I've said to Ronnie, in fact, I had Ronnie and Jay both on Ronnie's podcast a few years ago. And Jay's face when I said, no, you weren't, because I said, no, they brought up the 2001 Olympia. And I literally just said what I thought. I wasn't trying to just defend Ronnie because it was Ronnie's podcast. Yeah. I just said, sorry, you didn't come close, Jay. And Jay just started laughing. And then and I said, well, in fairness, though, I think you did come very close in 2005. So you kind of made him feel a bit better.
Fair enough. So let's get back to Samson. He just posted this today. Yeah. This is hilarious. Look at that. That was Samson Dauda. 2014. I guess first show, a NABA show there. Wow.
It was WABA.
WABA.
Yeah, it was WABA. He did a friend of mine, Scott Horton, show called the WABA Mr. Hercules Mr. Olympia. Wow. In the UK, and he just came in as like a novice, won it, and then he made the World Championship team, and then went abroad and did that. That's where that picture is from. I forget where it's from. Somewhere in it's like Italy or somewhere in Europe. But just the thing is, people say they start from the bottom. Well, everyone starts from the bottom. Nobody. Like I remember people going crazy over these pictures of Paul Dillette when he was before he started training, when he was skinny. It's like, look, these guys don't roll out of bed at 300 pounds. It's like, I've always been shocked by how much people love those before and afters, because it's like, yes, these guys are genetically superior, but they don't start out, or 300 pounds on stage, with a 30-inch waist. They do have to start somewhere. And I think that's a pretty good, obviously you can see in that first picture, he's got lovely genetic shape, beautiful flow, beautiful lines. And, you can see that he's got the makings of a very, very, very nice aesthetic physique there.
So this is the last update picture we've gotten from Samson. I'm surprised because the quality doesn't look that great. But you can see the massive, he's bigger than ever. He somehow managed to put on more muscle since the Olympia, it looks like to me. I'm not, overly impressed with the condition, but this is just, it's not a great picture. But still, he's got to be by far the number one favorite for this show. Odds on.
Oh yeah, I mean, in terms of his physique, I'm seeing a little bit more going on in the legs. I'm seeing a little bit. He's got even bigger from the legs from the side. You can see there in overall dimensions. I think his arms have got a lot bigger since the Olympia as well, and that's where I can see the main improvements. But yeah, for Samson, I mean Samson's. I'd be very. He'd have to do something really silly to lose this one. Or someone's going to have to come in seriously improved, which I can't predict because we don't know until they walk on stage. We can only tell so much from updates. But this is Samson's show to lose. So yeah, and I don't think he would be. I think it's like his conditioning even after the Olympia. It's like he never even went full off season. He kind of wanted to keep. You could see he wanted to really roll straight into the Arnold, get that prize money. And so I didn't even see him go sort of really too far up in body weight after the Olympia. He kind of stayed quite lean. And I think that was smart. So his condition looks good to me from all these little updates and videos and stuff. Yeah. Because I think that's probably the one area that he knows he can still improve on because his physique is pretty much perfect now. I think the only way. I'm being hypercritical here. The only way he could slightly improve is I still think he's capable of getting an even better readable biceps. I think his rear lat spread is incredible now. His front lat spread is incredible. But he's going for overall perfection. See, I still think he's got the potential to have like a hybrid Ronnie Coleman flex wheeler readable bicep. And his readable bicep is impressive, but I still think that's one pose that he could improve. Because I think every other pose he's really improved. I mean, all his side shots, his front lat spread's incredible now. His frontal bicep, he's really hard to fault, Samson. So and obviously the higher up you go, the less you can kind of max out. The more you can max out and kind of those improvements kind of slow down. So I think the one way that he knows that he can definitely improve is by coming a little bit sharper. Because, you've got some serious heavy hitters coming from this. I mean, imagine if one of these other guys, really felt they had an opportunity to take him out and they did. I mean, that would be absolutely shocking.
Yeah. And one last, before we leave off Samson, look at all the countries he's visiting this year. Wow. That's an ambassador. This guy is going to South America, USA, Berlin, Mexico. He's really being an international ambassador this year. And, we've complained in the past about Mr. Olympia champions that didn't travel enough and didn't represent the title enough. And clearly he's determined to be a great ambassador and spread the word of bodybuilding wherever he can around the world. So props to Samson. I'm
struggling to think of a Mr. Olympia since, I want to say Jay Cutler. I mean, I don't know. I can't remember how much traveling Phil Heath did. But I mean, the last one that really did the real amount of traveling was kind of Jay Cutler. But the thing is, I mean, even that, though, I mean, over a year, that's not a massive amount of countries. But then again, he's still got to prep and improve. And, so hats off. I mean, it's certainly more than Ramy ever did, Derek Lunsford ever did, Hadi ever did, to my knowledge. Yeah. I feel like that is the bare minimum Mr. Olympia should be doing. Because the thing is, you never know how long you're going to hold on to the title. So you may as well just blast it. Because I kind of feel like Hadi and Derek, I feel like they really and Ramy, I feel like they really missed their opportunities. But I mean, I guess Samson. I mean, I don't know whether he even likes traveling, but the fact that he's willing to do it, I think, says a lot. Yeah.
So we got to turn to the one guy that, in my mind and in most people's mind, is probably the only one who has a shot at beating him. That's Lunsford. We're looking at 2024 here, which was the year he dropped from champion to third place. Legs were flattened out. Overall, just not a great look. I never heard him explain anywhere on a podcast, quote unquote, what went wrong. But, compare that to this 2023 when he won the Olympia. Shit. Very different look. He was so much fuller. Those legs look like they're 2 inches bigger each. He always looks great from the back anyway. The front, we pick people apart because that's our job. The front, we'd always like to see a little more detail and separation around the chest, shoulders, and arms. But this was a winning physique. It beat Samson that year. It beat Hadi. Beat everybody. And now the question is, he's with a brand new coach for him, Chris Aceto. We have not seen too many updates, and I just wonder, can he bring him back to this form, possibly better? What are your thoughts on that, Big Giles?
Well, I think all Derek needs to do really, unless he wants to really slip in the rankings, is to look better than he did at Olympia last year. And I think absolutely 100% he's going to do that. And you say that he didn't do any, sort of explaining or complaining or whatever on podcast. He kind of just went straight into his Arnold prep. And I kind of really respect that right, okay, I really need to. So it kind of, I think he knows what potentially went wrong with the Olympia, and I just thought, you know what, rather than sitting around complaining or explaining, I'm just going to get straight into a prep, improve, and kind of redeem myself. So he doesn't need to win this to get a win, if that makes any sense. I feel like he just needs to look better than he did at Olympia last year. And from what I've seen in the updates, I think he's going to achieve that.
Yeah, let's take a look. So this is, he has not done a lot of posing updates in the last couple weeks. Everything I saw was a few weeks out. This was a week ago. Yeah, you can see he's getting lean enough. I didn't foresee that being a problem. He knows how to get in shape, and he's working with Chris Aceto, who's one of the greatest coaches that's ever coached an athlete. But yeah, I wonder, some of these guys are not doing a lot of updates showing the physique. Your boy Andrew Jack is a prime example. They're kind of saving it for the stage, which I know you like that tactic because it gives us a nice surprise at times. So I think it's just like when Derek didn't do a lot of updates leading up to his first Open Mr. Olympia, we were all wowed when he stepped out there for the first time.
Yeah.
And we could be in for another scenario like this. This was a couple weeks ago. Horrible lighting. It looks like it's actually not even fully in focus, this picture. But that's all we have to go on is some random updates here and there from Derek.
Yeah, I think he's going to look a lot better than he did at Olympia. I think that's a definite. I feel like I kind of want him to get a good second here, a good solid second. Because if he slips, I don't know whether he can beat Samson, but at least if he pushes him, he's going to kind of redeem himself from the Olympia at least. But if he slips and he gets beaten by, say, Andrew or even anybody else, I mean, then it's going to be absolutely disastrous for him. So I'm kind of the fact that he even jumped into the show, I think shows you his kind of mental determination. So I'm really hoping he gets a good solid second and looks really, and isn't blown away by Samson because, but I think he looks great in these updates. I messaged someone the other day and he went, oh, he's not improved and this and that. And I was like, what video are you looking at? I said, look at this video. I said, he is improved. He is.
Yeah. I mean, it's
fantastic.
The legs are back. I mean, it's just a matter of maintaining his fullness. Like most of us speculated that he just probably did too much in terms of training overall, cardio maybe last time. He pushed too far into the prep. Yeah. People will do. And I think obviously that everybody pointed that out. So he's not going to make that mistake again. And Chris Aceto is not going to make that mistake because it's just a very important show for Chris working with him. And it's tough for any coach to nail it 100% with an athlete on their very first prep together. So there's a lot of pressure on both of these guys, Chris Aceto and Derek, to really deliver. But I agree with you. Second place would not be a loss, especially if he's at his best and he's really pushing Samson, where Samson just doesn't totally dominate the show.
Well, I mean, thing is, look, Derek's going to push him in the back shots, probably beat him in the readable bicep. He's probably going to match him he's easily going to match him in quite a few shots. And for me, in those updates, his side, and if he maintains that fullness, his side shots look a lot better than they were at the Olympia last year. So whether he can, maintain that and dry out and not go flat or whatever, and nothing goes wrong in the last few minutes, that'll be interesting. But I think it would make it very interesting for the Olympia if he does at least take Samson in one or two shots and gets a good solid second.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're you might be privy to more Andrew Jack updates than what we've been seeing. I'm not going to ask you to share a screen or anything, but this is the last time we saw Andrew in top form. I say when he's won the Texas, he typically looked better at this Texas show last August than he did at the Olympia. And I expect he's had a little bit of not much of an off season since the Olympia. But so first question, Giles, have you seen any new updates? Because he has not been posting full body shots at all.
I haven't. I have spoke to him. I've messaged him a few times, and he sends voice notes back and texts and stuff. So I just said, rooting for you, mate. And because I mean, let's be honest, you've shown the guys in order that we know that if nothing's changed, no one's improved, and no one's slipped, because at the end of the day, there's things can happen in the last few minutes, but then also physiques can get better, physiques can deteriorate. They can reach a peak and then start to slide. It's going to be Samson first, Derek second, Andrew third. But, there is a potential for someone like an Andrew to step over a Derek, just as much as there is for him to slip, But if he could step over someone like a Derek, I mean, this would be a huge step up for Andrew. I'd love to think that could happen, because then it makes it a bit more exciting. But the likely scenario is that he's going to be third here, because based upon where the rankings are, their placings and where they are in the sport. So I'm just interested to see if he's going to make the kind of improvements he made at Texas last year, because he said he was 10 kilos heavier at Texas last year over the year before.
Wow,
10 kilos.
That's
because he said that on the tour I did with him in November, and I went, all right, whoa. One of the summers, I said, you mean pounds? And he went, no, kilos, bro. I was like, I mean, obviously, he's like 6'2". I mean, 10 kilos. Even still on a 6'2" guy, 10 kilos is a lot.
Yeah.
So, obviously, he's my friend, and I'm really rooting for him. So, and like I said, it's mixed feelings about the lack of updates, because sometimes, like said about Derek in 21, 22, we kind of sometimes want to, in 23, we want to kind of see those. We don't always want to see everything before the show, because we want to, I'd love him to walk out and be shocked, like when I was freaking out when he won in Texas. That's kind of my hope. So let's see what he's been up to in the last few months.
Yeah, I mean, we've come to expect updates to the point where if guys don't do regular updates, we think they're hiding something. But obviously not always the case. All right, let's go to one of the. I think are there 4 Mr. Olympias competing in this? I think so.
Well, if you class Sean Clarida.
Yeah, that's true. So 3
Olympia champion,
3 Olympia champions, and 1 212 Olympia champion in the show. Brandon Curry, for the first time since 2016 was the last time he prepared for a show in the United States. So this is something new. He's never stayed at home in Tennessee and prepared. He's always gone off to Kuwait. And I think it was his former coach, Abdullah, said something like he'll never win the Olympia again. Or I hope I'm not putting words in his mouth. But he didn't think he was going to do too well on his own. And we'll go to the updates a second. Looks to me like Brandon's actually doing just fine on his own. He looks as good to me as he's ever looked.
I agree. In fact, the updates I was looking at, he looked in better condition a few weeks out than he did at Olympia last year. Wow. So I think he's another one like Derek that probably was disappointed by, was it 9th he was at the Olympia?
8th or
9th. He slipped a lot. And I was really, really, I was sad for him, And I feel like he's done what Derek did and just thought, right, I just got to go redeem myself, and I got to really, really, really nail it for the Arnold now. So again, like Derek, I just hope he looks better than he did at Olympia and gets like a top 5 placing, because that'll kind of push him back up in the conversations, kind of like Bonac did last year with how Bonac did, because Bonac really clawed his way back up. He clawed his way back up to 7th. He won in Spain, beat Beirut, had a good result in second in Dubai, and I'd love to see that happen for Brandon. So at least that he shows up in better condition and kind of a little bit fuller than he did at the Olympia, because the Olympia was really disappointing to see, especially after the year before when he got sick and he was in the hospital, and then he kind of had an excuse, but still managed to hang on to a top 5 placing. It would be disastrous if he fell out of the top 5 in this show, but so I'd like to see him. I want to see him in 4th to 6th. Because he's let's not forget how good he is.
Yeah, let's remember, Olympia champion and a 2-time Arnold Classic champion. So, not many guys very few guys can ever say they achieved all that in the sport. But hopefully, he's still got a little bit left, and a top 5 placing would be a victory for him, I think.
Let's hope he can do what Bonac did last year.
Okay, fair enough.
I'd love to see it. Even though he's doing silly movements like this. Brandon, don't put this shit on social media, mate. Come on.
Well, I did a whole video about Ronnie saying guys need to stop doing this kind of stuff and get back to the heavy barbell rows.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Too right. Yeah, buddy.
Let's go to who do I want to go to?
I got to speak to Ronnie later, actually.
Oh, actually, cool.
Yeah.
So who do I want to move to? Akeem. Yeah, Akeem is.
Oh, yeah.
I won't say a dark horse. He's been top 5 here before. He was 6th place in Olympia, so it's not like if he places well, I'm going to be overly shocked. I expect him to do very well. He's been on a high point this last couple of seasons, really looking great. And people, he doesn't get as much hype because it's a packed lineup. This really is a great Arnold Classic lineup. And
but the thing with Akeem though, he always does well at the Arnold.
True.
He always does well. In fact, I mean, I love Akeem, but I think there's a couple of times I've not had him as high as he got. But I think along with Bonac, Akeem is the best comeback of the last year, I'd say, because I was with him in Romania. I remember we went shopping and shopping to the mall, and then he went and won the Big Man Weekend. And I think the Big Man Weekend was probably some of his best conditioning he's ever brought. So the thing is, you already qualified for the Olympia nice and early. You're kind of on a bit of a roll, coming back. He's over the injury now, looks like. And I feel like I don't know whether he's as good as he was, say, like at the 2020 Olympia when he took 6th. I don't know whether he's that good, but he's not far off. And his conditioning, I think, is better than it's ever been. So Akeem's one of the guys that I'm always conflicted where to place him. So I mean, obviously by this order, you've probably got him around 5th place.
Yeah. Generally.
Yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. But I mean, I've got a couple other guys ahead of Akeem, I'll be honest. Well,
I mean, I stole one of your lines. I've done a couple previews. I keep saying I have 9 guys in my top 5. But
yeah, that's such a cop out, isn't it?
But that's I think you coined that phrase. I got to give you.
I got 42 guys in my top 3.
Yeah, but look at that. Look at the biceps on it. I don't.
He's awesome. I tell you what, he's on his way back, man. I tell you that I love seeing this. That's one of the things I think I get most excited about when you see guys like Bonac. Bonac was like, at the top 6 at the Olympia, then he fell to 9th, and then it was like, okay, maybe. And then Akeem the same. He was like 6th, then he was 9th, then he was at top 15 at the Olympia, and then all of a sudden, you see him at some random show they do just to qualify, and you're like, holy shit, like Bonac in Spain last year. I didn't expect that. I actually ran backstage. I took my headphones off because I was doing the live stream. I ran backstage and I said, William, mate, wow. I said, I get so excited to see these guys kind of return, So, and I think Akeem's on a bit of return. I mean, he could take out someone like Brandon quite comfortably. He could take out a Bonac. He could take out Clarida. But I wouldn't. I mean, yeah, he's always in top 6, so maybe you're right. 5th place is probably about right.
Yeah, we'll do our top 6 at the very end, and we'll struggle as we always do.
I'm gonna piss a few people off.
Oh, dude, it's the worst.
I'm used to it.
Once I get past the top 3, I know I'm gonna just get so many people angry. But that's what we do. Well, we've been talking about Bonac, so let's throw him up next. So there's a guy that took a season off, or most of a season off. I didn't know if he was coming back, and if he came back, what would he look like? And this was the Spain show last year. You were
right there. June last year.
Yeah. So I mean, back to, I don't know. Him and Brandon. I don't think. I think their best days are behind them, but that doesn't mean they're still not world class and they're not capable of hanging with the guys who are on top now, the Lunsfords and the Sampsons and the Hotties. They can hold their own. But I got to admit, I didn't think Bonac would look this good last year when he came back.
And also, he got better as the year went on as well. Like, this was actually the worst he looked last year because they did was it a show in Italy, then he did Dubai, and then he did the Olympia. And at every single one of those shows, he just got better and better and better. Stop it. Cat's fighting. Stop it, Maya. Sorry. Stop it. Oh, he's so annoying. Sorry. So he kind of got better as the year went on. So and last year was the year he needed to really kind of get himself back established. So I mean, 7th Olympia, I think that's absolutely incredible.
Yeah. So this is the most recent full body posing update we had. This was 6 days ago. Yeah, I didn't think he wouldn't be in shape, so I'm not surprised. Someone like at that level that we've seen him for years, he's consistent.
Yeah.
So I mean, a possible top 5 for sure. I mean, it's going to be once we get past once we get past the top 3, which I think most of us kind of have locked in our minds as being Samson, Derek, and Andrew, it gets very, very tricky trying to figure out after that.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
He looks good. He looks good. There's no, I mean, he's certainly got it back, and doesn't seem like he's slowed down either. So yeah, it looks really good there. Really good. I'm impressed.
All right, let's go to my short king. Giant killer, Sean Clarita. This was Prague last year. You were there too. You were everywhere, John. But we weren't. Neither of us were at the Olympia, but he was very depleted looking at the Olympia. A flatter Sean, especially in the lower body. And then he gets with Boss of Outlaw right after the Olympia. And was a space of, I think, 3 weeks between Olympia and Prague.
Yeah, it was incredible. Honestly, I ran backstage afterwards and I said, mate, and I was filming. I've got my Instagram. And I was saying, he goes, oh, man, bro, he says, the Olympia was an effing shit show. He says, I said, well, this is more like it, mate. This is more like it. I said, this is more like the Sean Clarita we know, the chest, the back, everything's popping. You know, I mean, the Olympia, he looked starved. He looked like he'd gone back 5 years. But it just shows you just how important it is to peak well, you know, and have a coach that really is, you know, sort of keeping, because he looks totally different here. But I'll be honest, I think Sean's my dark horse, you know. I mean, look at that.
Whew, I mean,
wow. Holy shit.
Load, my goodness.
And the thing is, you can see like the fine veins on his abs and stuff like that. This isn't just like all water and bloat, and he's just going to lose it all when he steps on stage.
Right.
I think he's going to shock. I think he's right. I think he's going to slay a few giants. I think he could take like a Brandon. I think a Keem. I think he could take William. In fact, if I was pressed, I wouldn't be shocked if he takes 4th.
Well, you will be pressed later, so.
Let's do it.
I hate the prediction part of the show, but we got to do it because
got it.
People expect it. So Sean Clarita, I mean, I would not be surprised if he does very, very well. He was 5th place behind Rami the last time he did this.
That's right.
And, you know, I could have seen him beating Rami, as great as Rami looked at that show.
Plus, the thing is, he's got Keon to go up against at Olympia, and Keon is just looking sensational now. I mean, the first year that Keon won it, I actually had Sean winning it. But last year, obviously, Sean completely fucked it up. You know, we as we said before, had it fucked up. Sorry, and then Keon just looked absolutely unreal at the Olympia last year. For me, he was probably one of the most shocking physiques on the stage. So it's good that he's doing this Arnold, because if he gets a really good place, and say he gets like a 4th place, I mean, is it conceivable he could get higher?
I mean, if somebody really screws up. Andrew, Derek, I mean, Samson's not out of the top 3. There's no effing way.
No.
Derek, the only wild card is Andrew. Andrew could look phenomenal, or who knows, you know. I think to be honest, that was just me thinking aloud. I don't see him cracking top 3, but I would not be shocked if he took 4th, and I think he'd be quite happy with a 4th place in a lineup like this. I mean, that's incredible. Absolutely. So let's go to the UK, the Shed. Now, it's hard to judge him from updates. This was Arnold UK 2 years ago or last year. No, did they even have one last year?
I was there. Yeah.
This is why I have you, Giles, because I can't remember shit. So,
was he 4th last year? Was he 4th or 5th?
I can't remember. It was De La Rosa and him. I think De La Rosa was 4th and he was 5th. Maybe it was the other way.
That's right. Yeah, he was. Yeah, 5th sounds right. 5th sounds right.
Yeah. So tremendous achievement, and you know he packs a ton of muscle on his frame. He's got that dense, rugged, branch-wearing, Doring Yates type of the look that you only get from moving a lot of heavy iron, which he does. He's got Boss of Outlaw on his side now. So, yeah, I mean, again, there's another guy I got in my top 5. Everybody's in my top 5 pretty much. Yeah.
I don't have him top 5, but I got a feeling we might see the best James ever. So that's what I'm really excited for. And he was really, really thrilled to be invited to this Arnold again. So just hoping that he, I mean, he looked great last year, but if he looks better than this, then I'm going to be happy. But I think top 5, I think this top 5 is going to be pretty stacked, mate. But I think maybe, around 6th, 7th, something like that. I wouldn't be shocked.
And, you know, that's nothing to be ashamed of with the quality of this lineup. I mean, you're going up against you know, if you get beat by someone who's won the Mr. Olympia, are you going to cry about that? But but yeah, it's hard for these updates. He's like Dorian. He stays pasty white. He leaves his body all hairy, so it's kind of hard to judge the conditioning and everything. But he's never really been out of shape, so I assume he's going to be in great shape for this. Let's keep on moving down the line. Carlos Thomas Jr., the guy who's only done one pro show. This is another question mark. How is Carlos going to look? You know, because he does have ulcerative colitis. I know this because my son has it as well. I know that can drastically affect the way someone's physique looks. But we've seen some updates that are just freaking people out. Try to go to the latest one here.
Yeah, those updates have been blowing minds, like Sean Claritas did the other day.
Yeah, so the condition there. I mean, obviously we're only seeing a little bit of physique there, but it's pretty damn impressive. That's what we say. We want to see more back shots. Look at his legs after a massage.
Well, look. I mean, his legs are just. I mean, he must waddle when he walks. I mean, they're ridiculous. I mean, his legs are like just. I mean, his arms, his legs, his back, his frontal biceps, probably one of the best in the sport right now. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's just. You just look at that and you just think, how could anyone even beat that? You know, and then you put him on stage with the other guys, and you start hitting all the poses. We all know it's going to come down to back and conditioning, and also how these improvements will translate, and even whether he keeps them on the stage. Like I said, he's so early on in his career. I just want to see if he's better than he was at Texas. But this is a good show for him to do. This is a good one to really level him up and get him some notoriety, because all he has to do is look good for it. It doesn't matter where he places, and he's going to go. His stock is going to rise.
Yeah.
So
I mean, look, he's only competed once as a pro, and he got beat by two incredible Olympians, two guys who have both been top 5 in Olympia. Hunter LeBron, Andrew won, and Hunter was second. So, you know, again, if he places 6th or 7th, gets beaten by some incredible bodybuilders, it's no knock on him. But if he beats some of these names that we've been talking about, again, now he's going to be someone people will talk about. His stock will rise, as we say. He's on the rise.
I like Carlos as well. As one guy, I'm definitely. I mean, I root for everyone, you know that. But is someone I'm really, really rooting for, because he's phenomenal, and he's an exciting new prospect, and I want to see him. I mean, he could disrupt things. I mean, he could. There's someone that could quite easily crash the top 6 if his physique really comes in. And the thing is, he got Patrick Tour as a coach. Now, Patrick prepped Ronnie Raquel in 2015, 2016, and Ronnie Raquel's got, he's like me, he's got type 2 diabetes. Wow. And I spoke to Patrick in detail about how he preps someone with diabetes, with the whole blood sugar thing, because that's something I struggle with, and I can't even imagine what it'd be like to prep and compete and carb up and all these weird things. And Patrick really told me in a lot of detail about how he did it, the timing of the carbs, the glucose tracking and stuff like that. And I was like, so having that Patrick as a coach, for me, I feel like he's got the best chance of success. So fingers crossed, because I mean, imagine if he came in and, he hits a couple of shots next to Lunsford or Clarida and beats them. Do you know what I mean? The crowd's going to go absolutely ballistic.
Absolutely. Moving on down the line. This was Justin Rodriguez. This was 3 years ago in Boston, where he took a very, very solid second place behind William Bonac, and Samson Dowda was third at this show.
Wow.
He's still at it. I don't think he quite has this much size anymore. I'll show you the updates, but he's still persevering. He's not giving up. I know he's not a young guy anymore, so I give him a lot of credit for sticking it out and trying to keep his career going at this point.
I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but why doesn't he go back to cement factory guy?
Yeah, I don't know.
Was it what's his name?
That's AJ Sims.
AJ Sims, yeah, Joel Sims in my head. AJ Sims. Why doesn't he go back to AJ Sims? Because that's who he looked his best with. And I mean, I'm not aware of any fallout or any drama or anything. I think he just went their separate ways. But surely, if you undeniably several times looked your best with someone, why not just swallow your pride or whatever, or just pick up the phone and say, mate, let's work together again? Because, I mean, I've always been a big fan of Justin. Back in 2017, 2018 Arnold, I remember when I was like, okay, this guy's really good. I like his physique, and seems like a cool guy as well. But why not just go back to AJ Sims, mate?
I don't know. That's a good question, Justin. And maybe someone in the comments will tell us. I don't follow the gossip between clients and coaches as closely as a lot of people do. Some people live for that shit.
I know. I find these guys just need put their handbags down and get their estrogen levels checked.
Yeah.
But also, one second. Why doesn't he go and do the Masters Olympia?
Well, maybe he is.
Yeah, because he must be over 40 now. I mean, there's a guy that. I mean, imagine him in the Open. I mean, he'd be a contender for the Open Masters Olympia Challenge. So maybe this is something. Maybe this is something in the run up. Do you know what I mean? Maybe this Arnold Classic is just something in the run up. Because at the end of the day, if you're a big name and you get invited to, I mean, he kind of is a big name, but you could see he has slipped, like you said, since that Boston Pro in 2022 when he got second to Bonac and beat Samson. He has slipped a bit. I mean, there's no denying that. But doing a show like the Arnold Classic will raise his profile as long as he looks good. It doesn't matter if he gets 8th, 9th, 10th. You know what I mean? As long as he looks good and kind of like does himself proud. But let's see how he does. But I've got a feeling maybe this is like a bit of a warm up run for the Masters Olympia in July.
Fair enough. Last guy I want to talk about in the Open before we touch on Classic, Patrick Moore. Patrick was top 10 in his very first Olympia. You were there. It was 2019.
Yeah, my God, that routine.
Yeah, and he got the Best Poser Award and the paycheck for that too. Yeah. I was expecting big things for him, and he's not an old man, so we still got some gas in the tank. I'm really curious as to how he looks here. If he can beat at least a few people, if he can be three, four placings from the last. It's a small show, so that would still put him in the. I think there's 12 guys, so if he can beat a few guys, I'd be happy for him, and because he did look pretty good at a couple shows last season. I mean, they're still inviting him to the show.
He did. He did the UK show, that Europa show, and I know he was like, I think he was about fifth, or he was like between 4th and 6th. His conditioning was absolutely bloody fantastic. So sometimes I think with guys like this that aren't right sort of A-listers, that top tier, like the top 3 here with Derek Sampson and Andrew, these guys aren't going to hold a candle next to that. But all they have to do when they turn up to the big shows is just look in really, really good condition and show up in shape. And then it kind of doesn't harm their kind of career. So there he is. That was last year. Look at the conditioning. I think that's some of the best condition I've ever seen from him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he knows how to get in shape. His legs don't look bad there, the way he's standing. When you see him from a distance, he kind of looks, I hate the word lanky, but I'm going to use it. He looks a little lanky because he's got very long arms and legs. He was a very high level boxer, and you need long arms in boxing. It's kind of a prerequisite to do well. And we saw him unfortunately get in a fight outside his gym a few weeks ago where he beat 2 guys. Yeah, which you don't want that kind of publicity going to the Arnold. But yeah, I mean, I wish him the best. He turned pro with Derek Lunsford. I was there, and I still have high hopes for him. He's still hanging in there, and let's see what he has to bring.
Conditioning's good. Like I said, just show up in shape, mate. It doesn't matter what you place in a show this big. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So let's turn to Classic. Only going to talk about a few guys. Odds-on favorite, of course, Mike Sommerfeld from Germany, who's Mike the Badass, surprised a lot of us. He had been as high as 5th before, but to come as close, and some people thought he was really pushing Bumstead hard.
No, he wasn't.
No, yeah. I mean, some people, not you.
No.
But I was impressed. It's a beautiful physique. I remember at the Arnold a few years ago, the Olympia, was Neil Hill said, you might want to interview my guy here. He's really good. And I was like, I don't know. You know how I am. I'm lazy sometimes. But I interviewed him, and I've been watching him since then. And I've always been a fan. I love this guy's physique, but he stepped it up a notch. And I don't know if he's going to be the next Classic Physique Olympia. Who knows what's going to transpire between now and then? But he looks damn good.
Well, from what I've seen in the updates, I think he's going to look even better than this. I think he's going to look absolutely fantastic. So, I mean, think about jumping from, was he 5th? And he fell to like 8th or something, and now he's up in 2nd. The couple of judges had him 1st over Bumstead, which I didn't agree with, but I wasn't there. I'm not a judge. So, I think he's the odds-on favorite to win this. Yeah. Because he's on a roll now. This is his time. So he ain't going to slip up. He's going to bring. I think he's going to look even better than he did at the Olympia. That's my prediction.
I mean, these updates. This was a couple weeks ago. This was last week. I'm sorry, but yeah, condition is going to be incredible. There's no doubt. These all have clothes on.
I feel like this is his time, and I think he knows it.
Yeah, look at that. And this was a week ago that he posted this.
He's almost sometimes when you look at the run-up pictures. I mean, there were some shots of him at Flex Lewis's gym last year, right before the Olympia, and I was just like, how is this guy making weight? Because he's got a lot of muscle. I saw him when he turned pro in the UK back in 2018. He was a heavyweight bodybuilder, and then he tried 212, and then he switched to classic because he kind of like, you think about it, it's taken him, well, since turning pro in 2018, it's taken him like 6 years to make an impact of constantly. You know, he was a bodybuilder, then a 212, now a classic, and now he's kind of found his formula. You know, him and Neil have really cracked the code, and now he's kind of like the favorite going into the Arnold and the Olympia this year. So his confidence and his energy and his motivation must be on a completely another level now, because you think about like what Wesley was going in as like someone that we thought was maybe going to push Bumstead, and then he dropped to 8th, and then Summerfield went from, what was it, 5th to 8th to 2nd, you know, and pushing Bumstead. So his, you know, he knows he's kind of peaking right now. So he's not going to be taking his foot off the gas. No chance.
Yeah. You know, some people think it's an insult when I say he's a bodybuilder, but to me, he's a classic bodybuilder, meaning I think he would do very, very well in 212 bodybuilding if he ever decided to. He's got such beautiful lines, and he's got the mass. Whereas I don't say that about a lot of classic guys because they don't have the level of mass that would be able to stand next to a 212 or an open bodybuilder. But Mike, and clearly he's just trying to make a weight here. Imagine if he didn't have a weight cap. I'm always curious to know how their physique would look. Like, I'm trying to get Wesley to do the Prague Open next year. Sorry, this year. And I said to him, like, you know, like Bumstead did, because I'm obviously I'm doing the live stream, and I'm connected with them. They had Ronnie over, and who else? You know, the promoters back in March and December, and I want to kind of keep that momentum going for them. So I'm trying to get like Wesley, and Wesley said I'm not against the idea, but I always wonder like how without the weight restriction, you know, like I said, we saw Bumstead last year without the weight restriction, you know, and he was like 4, 5, 6 pounds heavy. It looks incredible. So I wonder how he would look on like a bodybuilder's prep, like an open bodybuilder's prep. I wonder how different he would look. Yeah, I mean, you would know from speaking to him. Does he struggle to make the weight for classic, or does he not?
I don't know. I've not Neil be the one to ask, and I haven't spoke to Neil since Romania.
Okay, yeah, because I mean we know Bumstead it was not easy for him to make the weight the last couple of years he was winning the Classic Olympia, but maybe if that's the case with Wesley, I wonder. You know, everyone harps on his legs. He doesn't have amazing legs. The hams and quads could both be bigger. Because look at that upper body is just astonishing. But I wonder if his legs are a little bigger and fuller in the off season leading up to the show, and then the cardio and the diet that it takes him to get down to weight for classic. I wonder if that takes away some of his legs.
Well, Wes, if you saw that guest posing that Wesley did, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks before the Olympia last year. I thought, oh shit, I think he's gonna push Bumstead. He looked absolutely phenomenal. And then it was funny, I saw some of the videos backstage of them pumping up. It was like I saw the one with Sean Clarida. Frank Seppi was saying, was chatting to him, and I was like, what the hell's happened to Sean? And the same happened when I saw Wesley. I was like, oh no, something's gone wrong here. Something's really gone wrong in this last couple of weeks. His chest and his arms look really, like, noticeably, maybe they just went flat. They just looked smaller than they did the 2 weeks before. Because he'd been in shape for months. But when I saw him at the backstage at Olympia, I thought, okay, this is probably the making weight situation that, you know, the thing is, it always comes off your worst body parts first. So like you said, maybe his legs are a little bit fuller and bigger there, because he looks pretty flat there, doesn't he? He doesn't exactly look bursting full, does he? I
mean, this was a day ago. Though it's the quality, you know, Summerfeld doesn't have these deep, clear striations in the shoulders and the arms like he does. That impresses the hell out of me. But yeah, this does look like he's really depleting to get down to contest weight.
Yeah, it's all a matter of whether he can fill out, you know, because I don't know when these guys have been weighed in, but the thing is, sometimes guys don't just don't magically fill out over a day or two. Sometimes they just, you know, they're restricting the water and just nothing kind of happens in the, you know, once they've weighed in, and they, you know, some of them start eating up and expanding. Other guys don't. I mean, Derek Lunsford in 2019. He said from weigh-in to by the time he hit the stage, his weight dropped.
Wow.
Yeah, he said that to me. Yeah, I was like, you know, what did you weigh? He says, well, I dropped to like another 4 or 5 pounds. You know, you'd kind of hope that after they weighed in, they'd eat up and then they just start filling out. But sometimes the body just doesn't work like that. So, you and I have competed. We've done it where we've eaten a load of carbs or we've junk loaded or something, and then all of a sudden you wake up and the next morning you're big and shrink wrapped, and other times you look like shit, and you look smaller and softer, and everything kind of goes to hell. But so I'm just hoping that I'm hoping he looks good. I hope he looks good. He's the defending champion, but he's going to have his work cut out going against Mike and one or two others.
Yeah, and these photos we're looking at here, this was at 4 weeks out. So all the body fat's clearly off. Like we can't see the lower body, but let's just assume. Hopefully he has time to, eat up and get a little fuller for the show, because Mike's a thicker guy. He's a shorter, thicker guy with beautiful shape and structure and symmetry and all that. So,
but I kind of respect Wesley for going for it. Because especially when he knows that he's going up against guys like Michael DeBull and Mike Summerfield. He could have just sat it out, but he's wanting to jump in there, so I give him credit for that.
Yeah, and I'm going to get some flack for featuring Wesley before Mike, because Mike did beat him at the Olympia. I mean, true. Wesley is traditionally not done as well at the Olympia. I hope this year he does great at both shows. But taking a look here at DeBull, he never misses. Condition is his forte, because he's not the biggest guy, but he does have a beautiful shape and symmetry. And let me get to a recent update of him, because his condition is always. He's a Saharan eagle, isn't that what he calls himself?
Yeah.
And that Sahara's dry. I think that's what I think that's the point with that. So yeah, this was not recent. This was from last season. That was right after the Olympia. Yeah. So this is the last time we saw him on stage.
Well, if you go by the Olympia, he's going to beat Wesley. But so it'll be interesting to see whether Wesley can kind of get a revenge on the Olympia. So, I mean, he never, like you said, he never misses condition. He's a fantastic physique. He's symmetrical. He's dry, separated. He ticks all the boxes. So for him to beat like Wesley, that's really going to rubber stamp him as someone that's, in the rankings of things, knowing how ultra competitive the Classic is. So it's going to be interesting.
That's funny, because in the caption to this picture, this post was a week ago. He said they're talking about a 2-man show. They forgot who was 7th and who was 8th. So he's reminding us he did beat Wesley at the Olympia.
Yeah, he did. Fair dues, and that's and the thing is, we usually use the Olympia as where somebody ranks. So if you get 3rd of the Olympia, we typically say that person doesn't matter if they won no shows that year or 10 pro shows. It's like, no, you're 3rd best in the world.
Yeah. So let's move on to someone else I think is going to do very well. And I did a preview with Jose, and I was flustered. I don't know if I was trying to do too many things at once, but I couldn't remember his nickname. And it came across like I didn't know who he was. I know Logan very well. I'm a huge fan of his. I like him as a person. He's a great dad. He served our country in combat in the Army. So nothing but love for Logan Franklin. He's best poser. Probably the only guy I think I would say is a better poser. And I always say Terrence Ruffin is just, he's a generational talent when it comes to posing, Terrence Ruffin. But Logan is an excellent poser too. And, he's been working hard. This is a guy that was a few years, just not long ago, he was competing in this as a men's physique competitor. And switched over to classic physique. He's done very well. He's won some shows. He's placed high a few times. He's had times where he had to pull out of the Olympia at the last minute one time. My heart was broken for him, but
22
Olympia. Yeah. So
I interviewed him at the meet and greet.
So I'm really hoping Logan Franklin does very well. Let me find a recent update for you.
Yeah, it looks good. I saw the update, and he looks really super sharp from the back.
Yeah, let's go.
Thing is that classic guys have to be. I mean, you can't afford to come in off in classic. You've got to be, because the thing is, you've got to weight to make, and a lot of these guys are carrying so much muscle at this level. They have to get conditioned to get down in weight. Otherwise, it just doesn't happen. So, I mean, look at that. I mean, everything's there. The glutes, the hams. He's dry. He's separated. He's he's probably starving to death. Yeah. So, he's going to be a solid top 5 guy.
Yeah. Working with Patrick Tour, and Patrick doesn't miss very often, does he?
Nope.
So wishing you the best, Logan. What's that? His t-shirts? Okay. Who else we got? I got one more guy in classic I think I want to talk about. I do. Yes. This is Derek Lunsford's training partner down in Florida, Matt Grego.
Yeah.
This was New York Pro last year. And when I get to the updates, you're going to, I don't know if you follow him, but he's put on some serious muscle since this. And this was last May.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, this was.
Yeah, I see him with training with Lunsford, and I see him with the posing and stuff. And he's always impressed me, actually. He's got a nice physique. Very nice physique.
Yeah, so check this out. This is how much bigger he is now. Let me stop this. So.
That's good.
He was, I think Jose told me he was 10 pounds under the weight limit last season. And now he's going to be right there, right at
he's
the
hitting it.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
Looks really good. Looks really good. Yeah.
So it's one more shot. Yeah, this is the one that really impressed me. Look at that.
He could do a bit more chest, couldn't he?
A little bit more upper chest for sure. But geez, look at that little waist.
Yeah, it's good. Really good.
We'll see. All right, are we at that time? Are we at that point where we're gonna do this? I guess so. Oof. You ready, Giles?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready to piss some people off.
Yeah, I mean that's unfortunately you can't do predictions without getting somebody mad because the only person who's going to be happy is the one that you said is going to win. Everyone else is going to be like that fucking Giles, that fucking Ron. So.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go?
Even if you say, "Oh, I think that person can win 3 Olympias," then sometimes they'll just say, "Well, why not 4?" You're only saying I can win 3. So sometimes even when you make these these great statements or whatever in their favor, people can still criticize and be pissed off. So I'll be doing this long enough now where I don't really think about how they feel. I just think about where I think it's with what knowledge and whatever we have, history and kind of educated guess or whatever. But like I said, predictions mean nothing, but it's always fun to speculate.
Well, so I will go first. We'll go 3. We'll go top 6. So I'm going to put mine up because it's only fair. I shouldn't make you have to go first. Wow. Do I really have him beating him? I guess I do. Shit. Yeah, this is rough.
Are you going to be brave or are you going to be predictable?
I start out predictable, but then I get brave.
Oh, I know what you're going to do. I know what you're going to do. In fact, I'm thinking exactly the same thing because I can actually read your mind right now, Ron.
All right, you ready? Here we go. That's my top 6.
Oh, come on. Oh,
well,
Curry 5th and 6th. Well,
the first 3, I mean, that we knew that. But I got Sean in 4th. Curry
5th and 6th.
I got him 6th. Oh, no, not I'm only being brave. I'm being stupid.
Yeah.
Curry 6. So who do I need in 6th? Let me revise. So 5th. Delaware is not in. This is old. Okay. Okay, this is fair. Kim. Yeah, I'm just gonna swap that out. Okay, add banner. Shh, be quiet, you. Okay, it's not letting me update it, but I have Simpson, Derek, Andrew.
Put it up. No, put it up.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
Come on, Ron, get it up. No, T-Bar Rose. That's not. T-Bar Rose isn't competing.
No, I'm trying to. There we go. Save. There we go. Now I can do it. Okay.
That's more like it.
Simpson, Derek, Andrew. Yeah, we said that before. Sean, I got Sean all the way up in 4th. I have him beating Brandon Curry, which is brave because it could very well go the other way.
Okay.
And Akeem. But I honestly think those 3 names could go any which way, and I would not be shocked. So.
Okay.
You start from number 1?
Samson.
Okay. Samson.
I'll be honest, 2nd and 3rd I'm conflicted with, but I've got a feeling Derek's going to get 2nd. But obviously, I would love to see Andrew get 2nd because it would make it very exciting for the Olympia. And also, the last 2 guys would be two tall, aesthetic guys, which I think would make a nice change from Hadi and Derek over the last couple of years. I think that would be very cool. It'd be very exciting for the Olympia. But yes, I have Derek in 2nd. I have Andrew in 3rd. 4th, Sean Clarida again. I agree with you on that one.
Okay.
5th place, I think Bonak.
Okay.
Bonak. 6th, Curry. And then I think 7th will be Akeem. And then it'll be basically the rest.
Oh, good. I mean, you didn't have to go to 7, but that's brave of you. So okay. So this is Giles.
Yeah.
Giles goes Samson, Derek, Andrew, Sean, Bonak, Curry, Akeem. So
hang on, should I change 2nd? Shall I swap 2nd and 3rd?
You can.
Oh, do it. Just do it. Go on, come on. We got to put the cat amongst the pigeons, Ron.
Okay, let's edit.
Go on, just do it.
Oh,
I mean, I honestly, I do think that's going to be the likely scenario with Derek in second, and I think he's going to look better than he did at Olympia. But I just purely for a bit of fun, I'd love to see Andrew get second here. I think it'd be exciting.
I mean, you'd love to see Andrew win. I mean, I'm happy for it. Just because you want to see one guy win doesn't mean you wouldn't be happy for anybody.
You know what? It's whoever turns up in shape on the day. It's whoever does it. Like, Ronnie Coleman lost the Olympia. Jay Cutler lost the Olympia. Do you know what I mean? It happens. You reach a peak and then new people come along, people get better. So if Andrew has improved like he did at Texas last year, then yes, I could see him in second. But that would be quite a cool scenario. I think that'd make it for quite an exciting Arnold Classic.
Okay. So I'm going to do a watch party on this channel, guys, Friday night for Classic finals and open judging, and then of course open finals Saturday night. So please come to this. Keep your updates on. If you turn those on, you'll know when we're going live. But when it's live, it is a free stream, guys. If you didn't know, go to arnoldsports.com and you can register for free. ESN is sponsoring that once again. So, props to them for doing that.
Those guys have got money to burn, man. That ESN, they are shelling out some serious money in like marketing and contracts and sponsorships. So yeah, good on them. Good to see. I hope they benefit as a result as well.
Yeah, because I mean, people would be willing to pay. Olympia was, I think, $80. It wasn't cheap. It's a ton of content, but free. Gosh, you can't beat free, guys. So arnoldsports.com. But we'll be doing a watch along here. Giles is going to drink some green tea and stay up late, and Mike Cox here is on same time zone as me.
Crack cocaine. Do you think Arnold's going to pull up the prize money again? Do you think he's going to do that, or do you think he's
We already raised it to 500 for this show. I think one of them too. It's great for the athletes that there's sort of a war between the Arnold and the Olympia now, who can pay out the most money. I predict. I don't know if the Arnold's going to go up this year, but I bold prediction. Jake Wood's going to pull $1 million check out for the winner this year.
Holy shit!
I mean, they went from was it 5 to 6 or was it 4 to 6?
4 to 6.
So if they can jump from 4 to 6.
Yeah, and I spoke to Jake about that in Romania, and I said, "There's that a last minute thing," and he went, "No, that was a last seconds thing." He said, "Literally,"
wow.
I said to the guys, I said to his team, he said, "Get the numbers in, for the live stream and all that." Because I think I worked it out with the people that I saw online. It was $480,000 they'd made on the live stream, maybe more. Because I took the number of people times whatever it was in dollars, and it came to $480,000. Maybe it was more than that, and then obviously all the ticket sales and everything like that, and sponsorship, and then he said literally, Giles, he says, when that check went out, he said the ink was literally, I'm not even exaggerating, the ink was still wet. It was still wet on there. Yeah. So so that was really, I thought that was really cool of him to do that. Not Jake Arnold. Maybe he'll do the same thing this year. It's supposed to be Arnold's worth $500 million, mate. I mean, he's no skin off his nose, is it? The thing is, I'm really disappointed there's no Arnold Decay this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a bummer. They had one for like 6-7 years in a row, right? Or more?
No, it was 3.
It was 3? Okay. I mean, still.
21, 22, 23, 22, 20, 3 or 4. They had 3 or 4 of them. Yeah. But they kept saying, wait for updates, but it hasn't happened. And I know for certain that somebody else having an expo at the NEC, the person that the manager of that, they said, I can tell you now that the Arnold UK won't be here. And really the NEC is probably one of the only venues. Maybe there's one or two in what's that one called in London? They had the Grand Prix. I can't remember. No. It was by City Airport. I forget the name of it now. The XL. It could be. There's only really for that size of expo. That's really the only ones that could kind of hold it. So I don't think it's going to happen this year. I'm really sad to hear that. Really.
That is sad. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to hit you with an unexpected topic. You didn't know this was coming. Sam Sulek, who is a massive media sensation on social media, I should say, not media. Mm-hmm. Millions and millions of followers. There was a lot of pressure on him to look amazing at his first contest. And this is how he looked winning the NPC Legends Classic Physique overall title over the weekend in Las Vegas. So I'm going to ask you, Giles, with your tigery eye, to rate this physique as a classic physique competitor.
Well, for his first show, I think he looked absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, we know what the you know, the because thing is, when you've got to make a weight, especially for amateur as well, I think he looked as good as he could look. I thought he looked great. My friend Brian that was there doing the MC, and he said, yeah, he needs to work on his posing and flex his legs more. But I think he looks fantastic. I mean, I'd be happy with that for a first show. He got first win. Yeah. We know what these you know, with the filters and the good lighting and, you know, and no, you know, and he prepped himself as well, like I did for my first show. Yeah. I think he looked great. He might get a bit of a rude awakening when he gets to the Arnold Classic. I don't know. Yeah, I think he did great. I think he's off to a great start. He didn't need to compete because he was like, his success kind of transcends competing anyway. 100%. Because of the amount of people he reaches. I mean, his reach is unbelievable. I mean, it's incredible. So he didn't need to do this. So I take my hat off to him for having the balls to get up there and actually do a prep and prep himself and get up there and actually allow himself to be scrutinized. And I'm really happy for him. He got a win, and he's off to a great start. But I tell you what, it did make me think, though. It did make me realize just how freaking good Bumstead is. Do you know what I mean? Because if you'd have like, I mean, he does look like an amateur there. Let's be honest. He looks like an amateur. Yeah. A good amateur, a very good amateur. But it just makes you realize there are levels to the sport. And I mean, him standing next to Bumstead would make him look like a little boy. But the thing is, he's 23. He's just started. You know, let's see where he is in 3, 4, 5 years if he carries on competing and improving, kind of like Bumstead did when he first competed as a bodybuilder in when he was 20 years old, 19 years old.
20, yeah.
Yeah, so let's see. Well, people are like sort of judging him and comparing him to Bumstead now, and I think that's just ridiculous because he's on a journey. He's young. He started. Hopefully, he'll carry on competing. He'll keep on improving, and obviously now it's given something extra for all those millions of Sam Sulek fans to follow. And be inspired by. The thing is, he probably will inspire a lot of people to get on stage now. And obviously, you know, he's been very transparent and charted every single bit of his prep. So yeah, good on him. Big respect, and seems like a cool guy.
Yeah, I don't know if his future lies in Classic, and I say that because he's at the top of his weight cap for the amateur level right now. Yeah, he went from 270 pounds to 216 to weigh in for this show.
Wow.
And there's, you know, you can't, how much can you really improve when you could see how flat he looked from if you follow him at all, based on how he normally looks.
Yeah, he had a really he's a big kid, isn't he? I mean, I've seen the videos and stuff. He's a big lump.
Exactly. So I would, you know, even Fawad and other people have said he's probably better off just taking time off to grow if he wants to continue competing and come back as an open, you know, top of the heavyweights or somewhere into the super heavies, because he's 5'11". He's a little over 5'11".
Okay, but the thing is, also it's like it's so good that he prepped himself as well, because someone with that kind of name and that kind of big on social media, you would have forgiven him for not wanting to leave anything to chance and thinking, shit, I really need a coach because I need to look good. But the fact he did it himself, if that's true, is huge. It's huge for him. It's amazing. So good on him.
And not only that, but I mean, every top coach, guys like Hani or Cito, who would not want to work with him? He could have reached out to anybody, and they would have been glad to say, "Yeah, I prepped Sam Sulek and got him looking great." But he wanted that challenge of doing it all on his own. He did it all on his own, and for somebody that did it, as you know from coaching yourself, it's not easy, but it's a sense of accomplishment and pride when you do it yourself.
When he did the post-show interview, and he said, well, the good thing is, he said, this is the worst I'm ever going to look. Because it is. No, because it's like he's going to just going to get better from there on, you know? So, like I said, let's go look at pictures of when Bumstead did his first show. Let's go see pictures of when, you know, a picture of Samson when he did his first show. He looks nothing like he does today. So who's to say someone like Sam couldn't be, you know, a world beater in a few years' time? So, yeah, I'd be interested. And I think he's on a journey, and I think he's inspiring a lot of people. And I think now, you know, I think it's great that he might be inspiring a few of his followers to maybe get their ass on stage. Do you know what I mean? And not just be sort of gym rats, you know. Which, I mean, there's no shame in that at all. I mean, it's fantastic. But and even going to the gym is a great thing for young lads. But if he can get them on stage, you know, and he's giving information, it's kind of all free content and inspiration, then I'm all here for it.
Yeah. So the reason I threw this up is I wanted people to see last year's Arnold Amateur in Ohio. This is the overall classic physique posed down, the 3 class winners. And at the Arnold Amateur, only the overall winner gets the pro card. So I'm not sure. I'm guessing the medium, the guy in the middle one. I'm guessing. To me, he looks the best. But structurally, Sam doesn't have the small waist that these guys have. It's not as pretty a physique. He's certainly got a good amount of size on him, especially if he fills out. And I don't know if he's working with anybody. He's only got a week. This is going to be a week from tomorrow that he goes on stage for the Arnold Amateur.
I mean, I did what I did for my first show. I had a bit of help with because I didn't want to take diuretics. I had help the last week drying out with like vitamin C, Solgar herbal water formula tablets, vitamin B6, potassium, the carbing thing. I think that would be smart if you could at least get someone just to guide him in so he doesn't flatten out or do something dangerous, like take diuretics and not know what he's doing and take too many or something, and then not just ruin his physique, but potentially ruin his, do something that's kind of detrimental to his health. Absolutely. So if I was him and if I was in that level of, scrutinization and everything, and someone like the Arnold, I would probably, reach out to someone to sort of just help him that last week because, you've got prep goggles on and you think you look like smooth, and then I did it once the year after. I wanted to get so hard, even harder than I did the year before. Yeah. I took diuretics and then I didn't carb up, and my 12 weeks prep went down the toilet in about 12 hours. I looked like shit. Yeah, it took me 6 weeks after the show to even be able to train again. My body was that depleted and messed up. Yeah. So let's maybe he's going to do that anyway. So let's see.
Well, we could say one thing is that the Arnold Amateur show is going to have 1,000 times more attention on it this year than it normally would. Because, I mean, I got the numbers. He's got like 4 million followers on, let's see, what is he? YouTube, he's got 4 million subscribers. TikTok, 2.6 million. Instagram, 6.2 million.
Jesus.
So there's going to be a lot of eyes on him. And that's part of the stream. That's part of the free webcast is the Arnold Amateur. So
brilliant.
People are going to be watching. ArnoldSports.com, guys.
I bet Arnold's happy as well, getting someone like that in there. So, but isn't it amazing what social media and YouTube and all these things can do? And if you I remember somebody AJ was saying a couple of years ago, "Oh, Sam Sulek guy." I went, "Who?" I've seen bits of him, and he says, "Oh, man," he says, they're saying like the videos aren't that well edited, and they're not like it's not slick, and it's not all. It's very basic, kind of like, but it seems to hit a note with the demographic it's trying to hit. It just it's amazing.
Yeah, I the same thing. When I first started watching his videos, I'm like, I don't get it. It's him in the car. Every video starts with him driving to the gym. Then it's him training for a while. And then he usually takes off his shirt and hits a couple poses. And he does eating videos, but it's very basic. But I think it clearly speaks to a whole generation of young guys because any gym you go to, you talk to any kid, but any young person between 16 and 24, almost all of them follow Sam. And if they don't follow him, they certainly know who he is.
Yeah.
You could drop 10 names from the Olympia and they'd be like, who's that? Who's that?
A gym in the UK had him for a meet and greet after the Arnold UK, and they said the queue was just down the street.
Wow.
Like literally it wasn't even like a seminar, it was just a meet and greet, just to have a photo with him. Yeah. I mean, you can't hate on guys like that because they're just self-starters, and I really respect that kind of hustle, and I'm really happy for his success. Yeah. And I kind of got added respect for the fact he actually got up on stage. Do you know what I mean? Because
he did not need to do that. He never
exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's like I've been doing bodybuilding media, writing for magazines, photographing for 9 years before I started to compete, because there was that small pocket of people that just didn't really, they kind of didn't respect. When I critiqued them, like, well, they turn around and say, well, who is he anyway? And then I thought, no, I've been training and eating 6 meals a day and training 5 days a week since I was 13 years old for 15 years. I kind of really want to do that just to shut that small minority up. And that's exactly what I did, So Sam Sulek has obviously probably had those detractors that, obviously on a huge level, they're probably like, oh, he's just some, gym rat, and he's just a broccoli head kid who's just sort of speaking to the masses and, but he actually put his money where his mouth is and did it. So good on him. Good on him.
And the final thing I want to say about that is, a lot of his fans will never compete. They have no aspirations to compete. But he shared that whole process. He made videos every day.
Yeah, exactly.
How he's feeling, how he's looking, and every little detail. So they get to live vicariously through Sam and go through a whole contest prep that they never otherwise would have had exposure to, because most bodybuilders aren't that transparent and with the content every day like that. So yeah.
Why has no supplement company picked him up after Hostile left him? After he left Hostile. Why has no one picked him up? Is he doing his own, or is he?
I have no idea, but if I was going to speculate, I would say he's probably going to come out with his own brand.
Yeah, that'd be smart.
Why wouldn't he? Why look to some other company to pay him when he could do it all himself and come up with the products? And
but he has to turn things down, because I mean, I'm sure like Muscle Tech would give him 10K a month easy,
sure,
and a discount code. He'd probably be on 10, 12 to 15 maybe with a discount code.
Yeah.
That's what he could be pulling in. So if and it's been a year since he left Hostile, probably more. Yeah. So he would have had offers. So I reckon he's probably working in the background with a partner quietly in launching, in putting something together, because he's probably going to be doing very, very well. So
I mean, I know what YouTube pays, and I see his views. He's doing great without any supplement contract. So whatever a supplement company was going to pay him, it would not have even been near that.
I heard he's making about 20K a month just on YouTube and social media and stuff like that. Yeah.
It could be more like double that, depending, because his views have gone. This whole contest prep thing, the views have been.
Have they?
Normal. Yeah.
Brilliant.
It's something totally different. It's his.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Because thing is, otherwise you kind of run out of steam when it's just you drinking chocolate milk, injecting tren, lifting weights, showing your physique. Eventually, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but unfortunately, people kind of get bored of that.
Yeah, he never showed up injecting tren. Just we didn't say that, guys. That's a joke.
Well, I because I don't watch his videos, but I just assumed he did because I heard he talks about gear a lot.
He does. He never talks about what he uses. He's very
okay. Fair enough. Yeah,
I'm glad. I'm getting tired of all these people running down their cycles, because who does that really benefit? But that's another show that we'll do eventually. Anyway, Giles, it's been well over an hour. It's power hour, so thank you so much for being generous with your time. And of course,
it took me a few weeks to recover from the Lee Priest tour.
That's right. Yeah. You're just feeling normal again now, I bet. So.
I've been in. First of all, I had to go to the Betty Ford clinic to dry out because we were drinking every night, and then I had to get some proper psychiatric help to recover from it. So. and then as soon as I recovered, I'm like, right, let's do another one.
Yeah. When's do you have a tentative months or when you're thinking of the next one?
Looking at July on a multi-country tour, like I did with Ronnie last July. I did 6 countries in 10 days. I'm looking to do something similar with Lee, and also something else with Lee that might be announced in the next couple of months, which is super exciting for me as well. So well, I won't say any more, but very exciting.
Say no more.
And and I'm just working on another tour with Ronnie as well, obviously.
Awesome. Because
Ronnie is the easiest sell on the planet. And people come to me and then I work with them and stuff like that. So we're looking at doing a tour just right after FIBO. Cool. So
busy tiger. All right.
Yeah, and Lauren's looking very good as well. She's prepping. She's looking awesome.
How many weeks?
I can't say.
Okay, fair enough.
Because she pulled out of Austria and Ireland last year, and she said, please, I'll tell you what show I'm doing. She says, I'm aiming for. She says, but please don't. She says, because I'll just feel too embarrassed if I have to pull out again. But now she's so many weeks out, and she looks exactly where she needs to be. So she's looking fantastic because she really wants that pro card this year. Awesome.
Well, wishing her the best. She does. I've been following the updates. Of course, she's shaping up. Of course, how wouldn't she? I mean, she works hard. She's got Giles Tiger Thomas in her corner.
Yeah. By the time I've woken up, she's been to the gym and done a cardio and come back, fed the cats, unloaded the dishwasher. And I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, she's gone like that. The cat's gone.
Wow.
So it's good. That's good. To be honest, we actually get on better when she's on prep. We actually get on like really. We never have any crosswords when she's on prep because we're quite argumentative actually when she's not on prep. We do clash, right? I mean, I've clashed. My God, we've clashed like you wouldn't believe. But when she's on prep. Like she could prep for all year for all I care because we just get on like a house on fire. We're like the dream couple, like and everything's just wonderful and like something out of a Disney film when she's on prep. But
I wonder what it'd be like if you were both in prep at the same time.
Do you know what? When I was prepping, when I used to go for every shows, I always made sure. I think 90% of the shows I ever did when I was single. Yeah. So I did everything myself. I cooked every meal. I did prep myself because I didn't want to put that onto somebody else. Do you know what I mean? And I'm glad I did it that way as well. So I was the lone tiger when I competed, mate.
Cool. Well, that's it. That's going to wrap it up, guys. That has been our 2025 Arnold Classic preview show. If you don't like our predictions, please let us know in the comments how badly we suck. Give us your top 5, top 6 below. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Because you never know how these things are going to turn out. You never know. Things happen. These are human bodies we're talking about. Very delicate balance.
Could you imagine if the guy we didn't have winning doesn't win? Can you imagine, could you imagine like the shock waves that would say? I mean, thing is, you don't know, things can go wrong with the body, you know, the health. You don't know. I mean, you know, something can go wrong in the last minute, or, you know, with all the internal organs, something you just don't know. You know, or like someone could walk on stage and just like, say Carlos could walk in and it'd just be like, oh my God, there's Mr. Olympia like standing there. You know, I mean, it's unlikely to happen, but and I think we will be pretty bang on with our predictions, but you never ever know.
Yeah, I always say stranger things have happened.
I'll ask you now quickly, just one last question. What's the biggest shock you've ever seen in the industry?
Oh man, like ever. Oh geez.
Gustavo Bodell, that was a big one. 2004, 2005, yeah, 22nd to like 3rd place, and he got it 2 years in a row. That was impressive. Jay Cutler, 2001.
Cutler in 2001. I did not see him coming and doing that well.
Yeah,
I'm going to go way back to 91. I had seen pictures of Dorian Yates from when he was champions. Yeah, I didn't think he was that great, but that was just based on some pictures. You know, because people were talking about him challenging Lee Haney. I'm like, no way. And then we get to Orlando, and like, oh, especially I saw him backstage with that warm-up suit, and like, this guy's not that great. He's not even that big. But the TARDIS, the deceptive suit, tracksuit that he got up there, and I was like, oh my God, he's actually the first guy to really stand toe-to-toe with Lee Haney and push him in a very long time. And
I'd say in the last 5 years that the one thing I didn't expect was Ramy in 2020, because I kind of written him off. He was 6th place in 2018. 2019 didn't even show up. Yeah. And then 2020, it was like, holy shit. I'm really glad that he got those 2 wins, actually. Especially that first one, because imagine if he'd have just faded away and it'd be like, oh, there's a guy that, and then we just constantly talk about him for the next 20 years as someone that didn't fulfill his potential, that was a wasted talent. You know, the fact that he actually did what he needed to do in 2020, went to Dennis James's house, and then he just nailed it that one time, and he won convincingly in 2020. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Oh, that was a great show. And he was a special invite that year. Don't forget.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
He wasn't actually qualified for that Olympia in 2020.
That's 2 Mr. Olympias we've had off a special invite. Derek Lunsford in 23 and Ramy in 2020. Wow. Yeah. So I always say that I always read the comments, and they're always 90% negative towards a special invite. And I'm always like, nah. They know what they're doing when they give that special invite out. They're not stupid.
The people who put the Olympia together, guys, they're not dummies. They know what they're doing. Trust me. Very savvy people. So that's it. We're going to wrap it up. Power Hour. Thank you, Giles Tiger Thomas. Thanks for everyone who's been watching. And please join us next Friday and Saturday nights as we do a live watch party for the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic, Open and Class Physique. That's it. Thanks for watching. We will see you